In other words, you will actually wipe on the feet, not on the socks, not on anything else. In other words, what we are doing is coming from the Quran itself, my friends. It's not coming from any other companions. You see, we always followed a very strict line, the line of Ali ibn Abi Talib. This particular anecdote I share with you because it is very famous, that one of our great scholars was a name of a great scholar. We really should know a lot about these scholars who have contributed and made us what we are today. Al-Mahdi. Al-Mahdi died in the year 1325 in the 14th century. He was a great scholar. He was living during the time just after the Mongols had invaded Islamic land. You heard of the Mongols? Believe it or not, they came from Mongolia. That's why they're called Mongols. In any case, one of the great kings of the Mongols was a person by the name of Oljetu. Oljetu, after they conquered Arab Islamic lands, the Mongols converted to Islam, primarily Sunni Islam. Oljetu was a Sunni. By some work, he was angry one day, and he divorced his wife in anger. Don't do that, please. But he did it. And he recited the triple talaq, the triple talaq. By the way, sometime back somebody actually divorced his wife when he was sleeping. God knows what he was dreaming about. But his wife heard, what did you just do? It's true, check it out on Google. And some of the ulama said, well, she's wisha, khalas. She's no longer your wife until she marries somebody else. But then she was reinstated. In any case then, Oljetu, in a fit of anger, he divorced his wife, Talib. And then he regretted. So he asked the scholars, they said, well, you said it, you were conscious, even though you were angry, and therefore, now the only way is for your wife to marry somebody else, to consummate that other marriage, and that other person divorces her, then she can come back to you. The king said, how can I let my wife go and sleep with somebody else? He said, well, there's no other option. But we have one scholar, who is a Shia scholar. He's a great scholar. He's Al-Mahdi. Why don't you invite him here? So Al-Mahdi went to the court in at that time Baghdad, and he took his slippers, jute, na'al. He put it under his armpits, and he came. First of all, everybody used to, their custom was to bow down before the king, but Allama did not do it. They asked him, why didn't you bow down before the king? He says, we bow down only to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We will not bow down before anybody else. He said, well, why have you brought your slippers with you? I mean, everybody leaves their slippers outside. He says, well, I heard that these Shafi'is, they used to steal slippers in the time of the Prophet. And I don't want anybody to steal my slippers. And the Shafi'is stood up and says, we were not even there during the time of the Prophet. Allama says, my mistake. These Hanbalis used to do it. Hanbalis said, oh, we came even later than that. He says, maybe these Hanafis used to do it. And he said, no, we were not there either. The Malikis were not there either. Allama says, point proven. We follow the madhab of Ali ibn Abi Talib. And he was right there with the Prophet. Now what is your problem? He says, well, I divorced my wife in anger. And Allama says, whenever you utter something in anger, it is not valid at all. So you can be rest assured your wife is still your wife. She doesn't have to marry anybody else. And even though you said it 3 times, it only counts as 1 talaq. Sallu ala Muhammad wa alayhi. My sisters and brothers, the point in all of this is to clarify issues, not to disrespect anybody or to make fun of anybody. That's not my style at all. But one final point before I talk about the Masai, which is the question of the Qunut. And again, we are asked, why do you Shias do the Qunut? In 1992, I do not know whether you remember what happened in 1992, there was the Bosnian crisis. There were problems in Bosnia. I was in Hajj in that particular year. And to my astonishment, and the astonishment of everybody in the Haram itself, we're talking of the Haram in Makkah itself, Haram al-Sharif in Makkah. The Imam, after he got up from Ruku, he would do the Qunut. He's a Wahhabi guy. Wahhabi Imam doing the Qunut. And most of those who were praying went into Sajda because they did not know that there is such a thing as Qunut. And of course he was praying for the Muslims in Bosnia at that time, in Palestine. But then he got me thinking that where is this Qunut in amongst Ahlul Sunnah? Again, if you look at Bukhari, there are various and different traditions on this. The Prophet himself used to do the Qunut in the prayer. The only difference is whether he was doing the qunut before the ruku or after the ruku. But the idea that the Prophet used to do qunut is actually in Bukhari also. Not only that, the Shafi'is, until today, the Shafi'is maintain that the qunut must be recited in Salatul Fajr. They do the qunut until today in Salatul Fajr. So in short then, the idea of doing the qunut is not a Shia invention. In fact, it is there amongst the Muslims themselves based on the practices of the Prophet. Sallallahu Alaihi Muhammad. It is the eve of the 5th of Muharram. It's very difficult to believe how fast the nights have passed away. Tomorrow will be the 5th day of Muharram. Karbala makes sense to us only when we look at the principle of Tawheed, of oneness of God. Because everything that Imam Hussein did was for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It was not for his own benefit. On the contrary, when we look at the events of Karbala, they demand spiritual and moral awareness in us. Because they ask us certain questions about ourselves, about how we connect with Allah, about how we connect with each other. And therefore, if you recall, when Imam Hussein meets the army of Hur, he says, "Ala tarawna anna al-haqqa la yu'mal bih." Don't you see that truth is not being practiced? Don't you see that wrong is not being forbidden? In other words, what Imam Hussein is proving to us, that we must have certain principles we must abide by. If you have, somebody said very correctly, if you have nothing to die for, you have nothing to live for. If you have nothing to die for, you have nothing to live for. We as human beings must have certain moral principles that we are prepared to give our lives for. Otherwise our lives become meaningless. And Martin Luther said this. Martin Luther King said that injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Injustice anywhere. If you do not react to injustice, one day you will be treated unjustly too. The deeds of Imam Hussein create a moral awareness in us, because here was a person who was willing to give everything for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, we will go together one day to the ziyarat of Imam Hussein. But there is a particular ziyarat that we recite in Najaf. For those who have been to Najaf, there is a ziyarat that is called from different direction. But the fourth ziyarat in this particular ziyarat is we face Karbala. Although we are in Najaf, we are praying to Imam Hussein. We are actually doing the ziyarat of Imam Hussein. And in this we say, لَقَدْ طَيَّبَ اللَّهُ بِكَ التُّرَابِ وَأَوْضَحَ بِكَ الْكِتَابِ. That the book of God has become clear for us because of you, Ya Ibn Rasulullah. لَقَدْ طَيَّبَ اللَّهُ بِكَ التُّرَابِ. The earth has become pure because of you. وَأَوْضَحَ بِكَ الْكِتَابِ. The book of God has become clear because of you. وَجَعَلَ أَفْئِدَةً مِنَ النَّاسِ تَهْوِي إِلَيْهِ. Ya Rasulullah, Allah has made the hearts of the people inclined towards you. Whenever we hear the name of Hussein, the tears come from our eyes because of what he stood for, because of what he died for. Azadara Hussein, what bothered Imam Hussein was not only that Yazid was claiming bay'ah, that he was claiming to be Amir al-Mu'mineen, but what also bothered him was that the Muslims were willing to give him that bay'ah. The consciousness of the Muslims had gone completely dead. Somebody had to revive that conscience. It is because of this that Imam Hussein stood up against Yazid. Tabari is telling us that when the Kafilah is moving, after having met Hur, they're moving towards a direction which is neither towards Kufa nor towards Medina. Tabari says, and other scholars also say, that Imam Hussein dozed off on his horse. And then suddenly he woke up on his horse. He dozed off and then he got up. And he says, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un 3 times. Allahu Akbar 3 times. His son Ali Akbar, who was right behind him, he heard the father. And he said, Ya Abata, lima starja'ta. Why did you do this istirja'? Why did you say Inna Lillahi 3 times? Why did you say Allahu Akbar 3 times? Imam says, Ya Bunayya, khafiqtu khifqata. Oh my son, I dozed off a little. وَرَأَيْتُ الْفَارِسَ فِي الْمَنَامِ. And I saw a man on a horse in my vision. Imam Hussein said, when I slept, I saw a man on a horse in my vision. وَهُوَ يَقُول, and he was saying, الْقَوْمُ يَسِيرُ وَالْمَنَايَا تَسِيرُ بِهِمْ. That our people are moving, and I see that fate is moving with them. Oh Ali Akbar, we are going towards our death. We're going to die. At that time, the only question that Ali Akbar asked, says, Ya Abata, alasna ala al-haq. Aren't we on the true path? Aren't we on the true path? Imam Hussein says, Bali wallahi nahnu ala al-haq. I swear you're on the true path. Ali Akbar says, Idhan la nubali. Then I don't care. We don't care if we are going to die as long as we are on the true path. Of all the very many friends who died with Imam Hussein, I want to talk about somebody today who was very, very close, very, very precious. In fact, he was a childhood friend of Imam Hussein, Habib ibn Madahir al-Asadi. Habib was one of those, the Qari in Kufa. When Muslim ibn Aqil came, one of the persons who was very vocal and loud, encouraging the people to give bay'ah to Muslim, was this Habib ibn Madahir. One of the persons who met in the house of Sulaiman bin Surad was Habib bin Madahir. And when he heard that his childhood friend, that Hussein, was stuck in the desert in Karbala, Habib was able, with a few companions of his, to leave Kufa in the middle of the night and to come to Karbala. When he sees his friend, Imam Hussein in that predicament, Zainab says, Oh Habib, you are the very few who was actually able to join us. Most of those who were coming to Karbala was from the other side. Thousands were joining the army of Umar ibn Sa'd. Very few were joining Hussein ibn Ali. The tribe around Karbala was the same tribe of Habib ibn Madahir. And therefore Habib says to Hussein, let me go and talk to them. Maybe they will come and help us. As Habib went to the Banu Asad to talk to them, to come and help Imam Hussein, Umar ibn Sa'd came and blocked Habib with 500 soldiers. 500 soldiers. Because he was scared that the tribe of Banu Asad will go and help Imam Hussein. On the day of Ashur, before the battle started, Zuhair and this Habib, they come in front of the enemy. Zuhair was eloquent, so was Habib. Habib tells Zuhair, you talk to the people. Zuhair says to Habib, you talk to the people. They were trying to tell the people, do not fight against Hussein. Because if you kill Hussein, what are you going to answer Fatima tomorrow? What will you say to the Prophet tomorrow? What wrong has Hussein done to you? But there was nothing that was going to change there. A time comes when it's time for Salat. When Hussein tells them, they tell the enemy that we want to pray. At that time, Shimr Mal'un says, Salatu Hussein la tuqbal. The prayers of Hussein will not be accepted. Habib could not stop himself anymore. He says, oh Shimr, you think that your prayers will be accepted? And the prayers of Hussein will not be accepted. He comes to his friend Hussein and he says, Yabna Rasulullah, I can no longer be restrained. I can no longer stop myself. Let me go and fight with them. As Habib, these two friends now are hugging each other on the plains of Karbala. As Habib is heading towards the battlefield, Hussein is looking at Habib and he says, Rahimakallahu ya Shaykh. May God have mercy on you. If only these people knew who they are about to kill. They are going to kill somebody who's got the Quran in his heart. Habib comes, he is the one who commands the left to him. He comes and fights with great force. He says, Habib says, that you may be greater in number, but we will stand by Hussein. Hi Azadarana Hussein. A time comes when Habib falls on the ground. He cries out to Hussein, Assalamu alayka ya ibn Rasulillah. Adrikni ya ibn Rasulillah. Hussein. He goes to the body of Habib. What does he find? That Habib is on his last breath now. Azadarana Hussein, do you know what happened after that? The soldiers were fighting amongst themselves for the head of Habib. Everybody wanted to pride themselves that they had actually killed Habib. The final anecdote that I want to share with you, that when the Kafilah reached Kufa, one of the enemies took the head of Habib ibn Mudahir, and he was going around the streets of Kufa with the head of Habib tied to his horse. This, can you imagine how Muslims would behave? They tied the head of Habib to his horse and he was moving around the streets of Kufa. As he did like that, he found there was a young boy who kept going after him. The enemy turned to the young boy and he said, why do you keep coming after me? The young boy says, don't you know, Shaykh, that head is my father's head. You are moving around with my father's head. I want my father's head. Allah la'natullahi lakum. Mata min Hussein. Yo, Hussein.